Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dave from Chase the Summit. I get a really short video for you today because I just stumbled across something that was very odd about a recent GPS run I did with the new Apple Watch Ultra 2. So let's rewind time a little bit. About a year ago, when the original Apple Watch Ultra 1 came out, they introduced something called low power mode in a workout. And what this does is essentially reduces your heart rate accuracy and your GPS accuracy when you're out on a run with your Apple Watch Ultra or Series 9 or Series 8 or any Apple Watch for that matter with watchOS 9 or newer. This is an additional setting that you dive into on your watch where you can reduce the accuracy from the watch to maximize your battery life. And I made a whole video about this about a year ago, and in my testing, it worked quite well. I mean, the battery life really was maximized, and in my testing, I could get almost 100 hours of use in a GPS activity with an Apple Watch, which is kind of crazy. However, you might remember that in the original video I made about this with the Apple Watch Ultra 1, the accuracy of that GPS track when I did some testing wasn't very good. The lines are a little bit janky, like corners were cut off on intersections, and it just didn't look so hot. And that's for a couple of reasons. I had that lower accuracy setting turned on, but also more importantly, I didn't have my phone with me when I was running. So now that I've got the Apple Watch Ultra 2, I've been revisiting a lot of these topics. And recently I've been testing that new reduced accuracy in low power mode on the Apple Watch Ultra 2, mainly because tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, I have a 100-mile ultra marathon that I'm planning to run. And I've been wondering, could I wear the Apple Watch Ultra 2 for this race, or should I leave it home? If it could survive in that low power mode, maybe it's worth trying. During the testing leading up to this, I found some very strange results. And right now I want to show you what is probably the strangest GPS track that I've ever recorded from any watch. Let's take a look. So what we're looking at on my screen here on the map are two different GPS tracks from two different watches. One of these tracks is from the Apple Watch Ultra 2, that is the orange track, and I had the Apple Watch Ultra 2 set in its lowest power setting with reduced heart rate and GPS accuracy. The other track, the blue track, is from my Garmin Forerunner 965 that I had on my other wrist, and that watch was in its highest accuracy setting with multi-band turned on, so we were getting a good baseline of comparison. And on this particular run, it was an out and back activity. So I started at one point, I ran out, I turned around at the end of it, and then I ran back just to see what kind of GPS data we could get, because in a perfect world, these tracks would be stacked right on top of each other since it was an out and back activity, and I was on the same side of the road when I ran out and again when I came back. Now that I've rambled enough about the lead up to this, let's take a look at the actual map. So again, the blue is the Garmin, the Apple Watch is the orange in that lower power reduced accuracy setting. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that the Apple Watch Ultra 2 looks really good. Again, this is an out and back activity, and as you can see, even if I zoom in really close, the track is stacked right on top of itself. Absolutely perfect accuracy in this lower reduced accuracy setting compared to the Garmin, which is drifting a little bit because it's using purely GPS data. And to be fair, the Garmin's doing a really good job here. I mean, it's only deviating by, 10 feet maybe here and there. It's looking pretty good. Now, here's where things start to get a little bit weird. At this first corner here, you can see that the Garmin is a little bit more accurate. I was on the inside of the corner when I turned here, and then I crossed the road to get to a sidewalk that was on the other side of the road. The Apple Watch, however, decided to go out into the middle of this intersection where I'd probably get hit by a car and then continue down the road, which, whatever, that's fine. That's not a big deviation. It's good enough. Let's keep moving on. Again, the Apple Watch looking absolutely perfect here, even in the reduced accuracy setting, which is kind of weird, but let's get to the point of this whole video where it gets really weird. So here's the point where I decided I'm going to take a right-hand turn into the parking lot at our local high school. I enter the entrance to the high school parking lot and I come through here, and then I decided to cut across the parking lot here, which again, both watches show perfectly accurate. At that point, I take this little side road here that goes down to the baseball field at the high school, and here's where things get totally weird. At this point, I took a left-hand turn into a short trail. So this trail connects the baseball field at our high school to the main road here to the sidewalk. And basically kids use it to get from the baseball field out to the road. It's a shortcut, and it's been there forever. It's a trail that's established, but this trail is not on any map. There's no map data for this trail. And because of that, the Apple Watch decides to do something really strange. So as you can see here, the Garmin Forerunner 965 continues on through the trail, and that looks pretty accurate as to where the trail actually is. And then it brings me back out onto the sidewalk on the main road. However, the Apple Watch Ultra 2 in the low power mode decides, no, we're not going to take that trail. We're going to turn around and we're going to go all the way back out to the parking lot. And then we're going to run through the parking lot, back down the other side of the road. And then we're going to hang a right-hand turn, go down the sidewalk where it will meet up with me and my Garmin. Now, let me remind you that both these watches were attached to my body. I didn't cut off my left wrist and let my Apple Watch Ultra 2 travel on its own out down the entrance of the high school parking lot, down the sidewalk to meet up with me and my Garmin again later during that run. We were together the whole time. So I found this to be really interesting. Now, why did this happen? Well, the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is leveraging Apple Maps data, like I said. So there's no data for this trail. And because of that, the Apple Watch didn't know what to do here. It got very confused and it didn't have any GPS data to piece point A to point B. So instead of, just making a straight line through the woods, it decided it will try to make the best of it and follow some road that it has data for. Okay, so where does that leave us on the low power mode on the Apple Watch Ultra 2? I'm a little bit perplexed. So I think for people who are doing a lot of activities where you're on roads or really well-established trails, the low power mode could be really useful. Now, my personal concern for the race I have coming literally tomorrow and wearing this watch is that the trail that I'll be running is 100 miles long. It's point to point. It's not a looped thing or anything like that. And this trail is really not very popular. It's not like super high travel. So I wonder how much of that map data from the trail is actually baked into the Apple Maps data and able to be leveraged by the Apple Watch Ultra 2. I wonder if I wear this watch and have it in this reduced accuracy mode, if it will do a lot of this funky stuff we just looked at, throughout an entire 100-mile run instead of just a 3-mile run. That'll be really interesting to see. And I guess we'll have to circle back and see what it does. But I think for most people out there, if you're just more of a casual runner and maybe you're just trying to milk the most battery life out of your watch, or maybe you're running an ultra on a road, this could be a really useful tool to use because the accuracy is still there as long as there's map data to back it up. The only downside is that your real life pace information when you're actually running and looking at your watch is totally off. It's not very accurate. You do sacrifice a lot there. And again, the heart rate information isn't totally perfect either. So at this point, I want to throw it back to you, the viewer. Have you used the low power mode on your Apple Watch? It could be a Series 7, a Series 8, an Ultra, and Ultra 2. What has your experience been so far? Have you seen this funky stuff going on where your Apple Watch is changing where you actually ran? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. This was a short video just because I wanted to put this out there and put the question out there and show you this really weird GPS track. And that's all I've got for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel down below, checking out all the links in the description for my podcast and my Instagram, and obviously links to the Apple Watch Ultra 2 that do help support this channel. And with that, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.